Hey guys, Shasta here. Just gotta say, before the video starts, I just noticed we hit 150 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. That is insane. Like, we got 100 subscribers 2 weeks ago, and now it's 150. That is, honestly, thank you guys so much. That is fucking mental. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and yeah, leave some comments in the description what you feel like I should do next. Thank you, and enjoy the video. Hey guys, Shasta here. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about every Normandy Axis unlock from level 1 all the way to level 32. Basically saying which ones are good, which ones are bad, giving them all the rating 1 out of 10, or 0 out of 10 actually, because some of these are actually 0 out of 10s. Now, if you saw the prior video, I did make one on the allies, which you can check. I'm going to probably put it in the annotation in the top. But basically, I'm going to be talking about all of these. Now, as always, I'm not going to be including planes because, let's face it, I'm not good with planes. I don't use planes that often. I think I've only started using planes, which is the P-47. But I'll be looking at each of these, saying which ones are best, which ones are not that good. And yeah, this is going to be looking at the unlocks. Anyways, we'll be starting, of course, with level 2, all the way up to level 32, ignoring, of course, these. Anyways, let's get on with level 2. Level 2, as you see, it is, of course, the 116th Panzer Reconnaissance Battalion, or the, which is basically, of course, the Tanker 1 squad. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10, mostly, again, because of the Tanker squad, but also the Puma. It's an okay vehicle. It's not the best vehicle in the game. I think I rated it, I said it was the 7th best vehicle, 7 out of 10, like the 7th out of 7th vehicle. So yeah, if you saw my Normandy tank video, you know that. Anyways, I think it's a pretty good tank. Well, it's an armored car, but it's decent. It's better against the early allies. It can put a hole even in some of the later allied tanks, and of course you've got the speed advantage. Now, obviously, of course, it does get outclassed by later tanks, but I think this is a pretty good, a pretty solid early vehicle. Let's move on to level 3. For level 3, of course, the Engineered and the Mars 36. I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Mostly because great squad, like, pretty good squad, but not, like, and an amazing class. Engineers are one of the best classes in the game, but not a good weapon. The Mars 36 is not a good weapon. I'm pretty sure we all know that I do not like weapons like the Mars 36 because it's basically a reskin bolt action. I'm pretty sure. I do like the iron sights. I do like the sights on this thing, but yeah, it's not the best. It's not really a good bolt action. It's fucking hell. And yeah, not bad. Level 6 out of 10, I'd say, mostly because the engineer squad basically threw this all the way up to a 6 out of 10. But the Maz did nothing really for this. Anyways, let me move on to number 5, because of course number 4 is a plane. This one, I forgot. I generally forgot the FNAB was level 5. It's such a shit SMG. It's probably one of the worst SMGs in the game. I would say the only SMG I hate more is the MP308. And that's just awful. Like, the FNAB, obviously 0 out of 10 for this. It is a pretty bad weapon. Not that good. Just god-awful. God-awful weapon. One of the worst weapons in the game, especially for the Axis, which are like, the Axis have so many SMGs, and they're stuck with this as well. They get the FNAB for deadweight. It's much better to just wait. Either wait till the MP40 or just stick with the MP35. Or MP34, MP35 later. Anyways, getting ahead of myself. Anyways, let's move on to level 6, which is the flamethrowers. For level 6, the flamethrowers, I'm going to give them 5 out of 10 because it's flamethrowers. Like, they're definitely being made a lot better now, but, the flamethrowers, they're okay. They're okay. They're in a good spot right now. 5 out of 10, I'd say. Not the best, but not the worst. Anyways, I don't have much to say about flamethrowers, actually. Let's move on to level 7. For level 7, it is the Radio Operator Squad and the Gavir 43. Now, the Gavir 43 immediately brings this to a 9. Right, I'm going to say this is a 9 out of 10. The Radio Operator squad is one of my least favourite squads in the game, but the Kavir 43 is just so good. That it's the same thing with the Americans with the Garand. Like, the Garand and the Kavir 43 are so good that they basically bring this thing kicking and screaming to a 9 out of 10. Like, compared to the, compared to most other unlocks, with squads like, for instance, the Maz and a few later ones, you could do worse than a Kavir 43. You could do a lot worse than a Kavir 43. Anyway, let's move on to level 8, and I can already hear the memes coming. The Sturm Pistol. Like, I know the memes, Darwin's, Quadro, Jason, I know the memes, I can hear them a mile away. You expect me to give this a 10 out of 10, don't you? Honestly, I would say, realistically, this is more of a 6 out of 10 than a not... Sturm Pistol was okay. It's an okay anti-tank weapon. Not the best, not the worst. It's okay. The AT gunners, of course, or bombers, they are a really good squad. They're really good soldiers. Not the best squad. Squad's not that good. Class is pretty good, and the weapon's okay. So, 6 out of 10. And yes, I know, I love the Sturm Pistol. But even I have to admit, it's not the best weapon in the game. Or the best anti-tank weapon, to be precise. Anyway, let's move on to level 9. For level 9, it has to be of course, it's a good old MP40. It has to be a 7 out of 10 weapon. The MP40, it's just a fine weapon. Like, it's not going to do anything major. It's not going to break any records, but it's a fine weapon. You can use this until level 20 something, and that's impressive. Like, obviously, of course, the Allies have the same option with the they have to use the M3A1 grease gun until level 22, really. But the Axis actually have an alternative at level 16 to the MP40, which is why I think it's actually quite interesting that the MP40 can stand on its own 2 feet until you get the MP35, which is, of course, the MP35. Anyways, that being said, let's talk about the Panzer IIIN, which is, of course, level 10. Oh, boy. The Panzer IIIN, I don't like the Panzer IIIN much. It's a 3 out of 10 tank. I'd say it's the worst tank in Normandy. Now, I did say in the video where I was comparing each level that the Panzer IIIN was better than the Scott. But that's because I think it's a better tank than the... it's better for a newcomer than the Scott. Like, the Scott, you touch that thing with anything and it will go down. The Panzer III, it's a terrible tank, but at least noobs can use it. Like, it's noob friendly. Whereas the Scott, requires a good player to use it correctly. And, yeah, I don't like the Panzer III much. It's a 3 out of 10 tank. Yeah, not much to say. Let's move on to level 11. Now, this one's actually pretty funny because this is a fantastic squad. One of the best squads in the game. But one of the worst weapons in the game. Probably the worst Axis weapon in the game. The Breda Model 30 is awful. It is just bad. It is bad on every universal degree. It's got shit fire rate. It's got shit recoil. It's got a shit magazine, shit reload, everything shit about this weapon. It looks like shit, it plays like shit, it's generally just shit. How much times am I going to say shit when I'm talking about this piece of shit? I have no fucking clue. But it's sad because the squad is actually really good. Like, the squad's not shit, but the Breda is shit. Like, I'm going to have to put a shit counter on how many times I'm saying the word shit because it's describing the fucking piece of shit known as the Breda shit model shit fatty. Shit! Yeah, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10. Squad really just drives this up. But the Breda Model 30 is a load of shit. And obviously I'm going to put a counter on the screen where how many times I said the word shit. Anyway, let's move on to level 13. Which I can't remember. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck indeed. after I basically blew up YouTube's profanity filter by saying the word shit about 50 times. Now I've got to talk about this! Yeah, no. 0 out of 10. For level 14, it is the Sniper 2 squad. Now, I can actually tone down the Razor Room because this is actually a decent squad. Decent squad and a pretty good weapon. I would say an 8 out of 10. The only reason I would say it's an 8 out of 10 is that I think the Gavir 43 is better than the Sniper Gavir 43. But that is still, it's still solid. Like, that is still a solid weapon. Pretty good squad, but, you know, and this is kind of where the Axis begin to dominate, you know, around here when you get the Sniper Gavir 43. Really good weapon, really good squad. Let's move on to level 15, which is of course the Panzer IV-J. For level 15 is of course the Panzer IV-J, which is, I'd say a 9 out of 10 unlock. Really, really good. It's a pretty good tank, but the problem is the H is so much better than the J that generally, as good as the H is, and as good as the J is, you know, it's a 9 out of 10 tank. It's fine. It's a great tank. Top 4 for the it's top 3 of course in the Axis. Top 4. I'd say it beats all Allied tanks other than the Jumbo. Like, the only tank I think which is better for the Allies than the 4J is the Jumbo. It was actually the most surprising tank, because I went in thinking, oh, the Panzer IV-J is going to be awful. And I generally came out pleasantly surprised with it. I generally liked it. The only problem is the turret speed is a pile of arse. But other than that, it's going to be... it's a 9 out of 10. Great tank. Great tank. Let's move on to level 16. For level 16, it is the M1918, which I'd say is a 7. It's another 7 out of 10. It's solid. It's a pretty solid weapon. I would say the only real downside is it's got a short magazine and it has a very probably the I don't know if it is the fastest rate of fire of any weapon in this game, but it's up there. This thing just cuts through its ammo. You need ammo bags on this thing. Like, this is one of the few SMGs in the game where ammo bags are a necessity, because this thing just goes through ammo so quick. It chews through ammo. It's generally quite good though. It's really good, and it's a really good weapon to clear out a house. A 7 out of 10, probably comparable with the MP40, but they both have different needs in my opinion. They're both really good though. So yeah, let's move on to level 17. Level 17 is the Rifleman 2 squad, which has the Kar 98K with the Strasbecker, the shooting cup. I'm going to say shooting cup because a mispronunciation will literally... I don't want to mispronounce this, because I know that you could actually mispronounce this as shit cup if you accidentally mispronounce it. But yeah, the Kar 98K with the shooting cup is not that good, which is why people are really angry about the new Kar 98K which is coming, because people are like, we don't want a Kar 98K with a shooting cup when the FG42 exists, or the Gavir 43 exists as well. But this squad is really good. I really like this squad. Of course, it's a Rifleman squad, so it's immediately going to be an A tier squad. Yeah, I'd say a 5 out of 10. You know, a decent, you know, really good squad, but poor weapon. Pretty poor weapon. Anyways, let's go on to level 19, because level 18 is a Plaid. For level 19 is the MG34, which I think is a 9 out of 10 weapon. Pretty good weapon. It was a lot better back before the MG nerfs, but it's still a really, really, really good weapon. It's got a good rate of fire, and compared to the... compared to this, it is a godsend. Like, literally, just... I generally have never been more happy to unlock a weapon than when I unlocked the MG34. This thing is a godsend compared to what the Braider is. The Braider, literally, all it is good for braiding your bum hairs. This thing is a monster. And, yeah, worth it. I think it is worth it in the long run. And I would generally say, you know, level up the campaign just to get the 34. The 34 is a really good weapon. Anyway, let's move on to level 20. Coming in for level 20 is the Tank 2s, which is obviously got the Panzer 4H. I think this is a 10 out of 10. I don't know if this is the first 10 out of 10, is it? I think it might be the first 10 out of 10, actually. Wow. But yeah, Tanker 2s, the Tanker 2 squads are really good. The Panzer 4H is a really, really good tank. I think I put it as the third best tank in Normandy, behind the Panther and the Panzer 4 and the Jumbo, not the Panzer 4. Yeah, it's a really good tank. Solid, pretty good at taking out pretty much anything it comes up against. The only problem is the armor is paper thin, but it's got a good, it's got a good turret, a good cannon. It's got good MGs. It's got side skirts. It's a good tank, really good tank, really good level up. Not as good as the Jumbo, but it's a really good level up. Anyways, let's move on to level 21. Level 21, we get the Sniper 3s, which have the FG42 too. Do I even need to say anything? It's a 10 out of 10. It's an FG42 too, arguably one of the best weapons in the game. This alone makes it a 10 out of 10. It doesn't matter that the squad isn't that good. The FG2, the FG42 Mark II is just so good that this is just... I don't have to say anymore. Let's move on to level 22. For level 22, it's the MP35 with the Assaulter 2s. What a combination. Oh my god, the MP35 is so good. It is... I think I started using it and I'm like, okay, it's probably not going to be that good. But I was blown away by it. It is one of the best SMGs in the game. I would generally say it's up there with the Beretta, it's up there with the Thompson, and I'm saying that, I'm putting this on the same praise as the Thompson. My favourite weapon in the game. I'm saying it's almost as good as that. Yeah, clear 10 out of 10. Great squad, great weapon. What more could you want? Let's move on to level 23, which I guarantee you know what's going to be given for that. 10 out of 10. Coming in for level 25 is the Machine Gunner 2 squad and the MG42. I think this is another 10 out of 10. Literally, the Axis get on a roll here. Look at this. Like, Panzer 4H, FG42-2, MP35, and the Assaulter 2 squad, and then the FG42, and then after this plane, you get the MG42. That is just insane. That is an insane amount of 10 out of 10 unlocks in a short period of time. The MG42, what a weapon. Really, really good weapon. It's a really good weapon. It's one of my favourite LMGs in the game. I prefer it to the 34, but I would still say that I still use the 34 as well as the 42. Gunner 2s obviously are a fantastic squad. And yeah, just a lot of good, just really good, It's a really good squad, really good weapon, and just a really, really fun to use. Anyways, let me move on to level 26. Okay, I can stop, praising every weapon insanely because we got the ZK383, which I'd say is an 8 out of 10. It's not as good as the MP35, but it's better than most weapons that come before it. It's a pretty good Czech SMG. Well, it's an LMG, really. It was a Czech LMG, but it uses pistol rounds. Excuse me. Anyways, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I would say the only problem is there's not really much reason to use it because the Axis are so oversaturated with good SMGs. Like, you've got the MP35 a few levels before it, and a couple levels later you get the Beretta M19 not in 1918, Beretta Model 38, and yeah, I'm gonna have to put this as an 8 out of 10. If this was on most other campaigns, it would be probably one of the best weapons in the campaign. But the problem is, there's so many good SMGs that really there's no reason to use this. Anyway, let's move on to level 28. For level 28, it is the flamethrowers, the flamethrower 2s. Obviously, the most weapon I've ever gotten out in the... I'm pretty sure in my unboxing video where I unboxed 185 weapons, I kept getting flamethrower 2s. The flamethrower 2 is actually... I'd say it's a 7 out of 10. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a flamethrower, so it's a flamethrower 2, and of course flamethrower's got that massive buff, so... And I would say it has one of the best perks in the game. Like, you can generally stack this with a lot of vitality. It's generally really good. Plus you get the FG42. It's just a lot of fun to use. Yeah. 7 out of 10. Just, it's a good squad, but it's not the best. Let's move on to level 29. Coming in for level 29 is the Beretta Model 38, with of course the 40-round stick magazines. 10 out of 10. Really good SMG, one of the best in the game. The only SMG I would say which is better, like a solid SMG which is better, is the Thompson. You know, great. I love this weapon. It is so good. Like, I'd say this is a top 3 weapon in top 5 weapon in Normandy. I'd say this is probably a top 5 weapon in Normandy. It's a really, really, really good SMG. I love it. Plus, I got to snipe Joey with it, so you can't go wrong with that. You know, great memories with this weapon. A lot of fun with it. It's a brilliant, brilliant SMG. It comes in at number, of course, level 29. And let's move on to the Panzerfaust at level 30. Oh boy. Now, I know everyone makes the joke, oh, JDOSer loves the Sturm pistol, but generally, I love using this. It is... What a weapon. You know, a 10 out of 10 weapon, 100%. Literally, the Axis needed this. They needed this. Like, I can't wait for the Panzerschreck, because if the Panzerschreck blows this out of the water, oh god. The Panzerfaust 60 is insane. It's probably the best anti-tank weapon in the game at the moment, actually. It does a lot of damage. It will take out... You touch a tank, it'll take it out. It's so good. It's really good at taking out tanks, crew sniping. Just a brilliant anti-tank weapon. And I say 10 out of 10. Let's move on to level 31. For level 31, we have the Tanker 3 squads and the Panther. Now... The Panther is, I put it as the second best tank in the game as well, the best Axis tank for Normandy. Now, given that I gave the Panzer IV a 10 out of 10, what do you think I'll give this tank? It is a clear 10 out of 10 tank. 10 out of 10, you know, 10 out of 10. Really good. I really love this tank. It's one of my favourites in the game. Just a lot of fun to use. Not much to say about it. Let's have a look at number 32. Before we go on to it, it's literally, you get this, and then you have this premium squad, which is just a load of shit. It's literally, on one hand, you know, gold, on another hand, extreme failure. Yeah, I don't have to say much about it. It's an assaulter squad, and it's an assault rifle, and it's got a good perk. 10 out of 10. Like, generally, I'd say this is my favourite Axis weapon, and it's one of my favourite weapons in the game. Just brilliant. Love this weapon. It's my second favourite weapon in the game behind the Thompson. If it wasn't for the Thompson, this would be my favourite weapon in the game. I love it. Everything about this weapon is great. Great ammo. Great, yeah, the ammo's fine. It's got a great rate of fire. It's really good for clearing buildings. Great reload, you name it, it's great. Anyways, I'm just going to end the video here because there's not much to say. It's just a great weapon. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your thoughts over the different squads in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next.